Hello everyone, welcome to Gilcomston Sunday School Online. My name's Jill and I'm one of the Sunday School teachers at our church. It's great to see you and we hope that you've had a really great Easter holidays and enjoyed lots of fun time with your family. If you've been following along with Sunday School, over the last 2 weeks we've been thinking about the story of Easter with Rosie. And you guys made wonderful crafts and we all enjoyed seeing them on the WhatsApp group. Today we're carrying on our story and we're finding out what happened next. Last week we learned that Jesus rose from the dead and he met Mary in the garden. Well, we read on further in the Bible and it tells us that Jesus appeared to his friends, the disciples. And they were so excited to know that he was alive. We're going to focus on one particular friend of Jesus called Thomas and learn something of his story when he heard that Jesus rose from the dead. I wonder if there have been times when people have told you something and you have not been very sure about it. Sometimes it's something on the news, or something that we've read, or something that we've seen. Yesterday, we watched Frozen 2 in our house, and it was great fun. But at one point, Olaf tells them all a very strange fact. Olaf says, wombats have square poos. Imagine that! Square poos? Well, we weren't very sure about that. Was that a fact? Was that real? I'm going to let you find that out by looking it up on the internet. Now, today we're going to be learning about Jesus' friend Thomas. Thomas was one of the disciples and he had been with Jesus through all this troubling time and through the time where he was taken from them and taken to the cross. As one of the disciples, he knew Jesus really well and he would have been devastated that Jesus had died. So when all his friends were talking about the fact that Jesus had been brought to life, you would expect that he would be excited. But Thomas wasn't very sure. I think it's important that when we have doubts or worries, we think about them a bit more because they can help us to understand something deeper and something better. Today's story helps us to understand that if even Jesus' friends can have doubts about what happened, then sometimes we can understand that we will have doubts and not be sure. But it encourages us that Jesus will help us to understand better. We're going to read from the Bible because the story comes directly after Mary's story. In the Bible, in the book of John and at chapter 20, we're going to be looking at verse 24. Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. When the other disciples told them that they had seen the Lord, he declared, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe it." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and have yet believed." Thomas's story is wonderful, and I think it's sometimes sad that we remember him as doubting Thomas, because we can all feel like that sometimes. But the important truth in our story is that Jesus, in his kindness, came back to show Thomas, to help him to believe. Thomas, of course, when he saw Jesus, of course he believed. But Jesus reminds Thomas and the 12 that the people who have faith in him without seeing are the ones who are really blessed. Now for us today, we can have faith. We can be sure that Jesus did rise from the dead because he was seen by all these different people, and they wrote about it for us to learn about in the Bible. Having faith and believing in things when we don't have proof can be difficult. Proof with our eyes, that is. Sometimes there will be times in your life when you follow Jesus, when you will have things that you're not sure about. It might be in relation to who Jesus was or some of the things that he did. You might be unsure about what Jesus is asking of you in your life. It's okay to have questions. The Bible is here to help us, and your mums and dads can help you to understand more about Jesus. But we have to remember that Jesus will help us to have faith if we ask him, to stop doubting and to believe. Today, our crafts and our booklet are going to help us with that. If you're part of Gilcomston Sunday School and come, you will have had your book in the post. And we're at number 16 for you to work through the worksheet to help you to understand the lesson of Thomas. If you don't have a worksheet, I've uploaded one to the website, and if you can find it on the resources, it looks like this. If you are feeling creative, you can colour it in. It represents Jesus' hands opening out for us. And if you take some time and fold it according to the lines, you will get a card that looks like this, that says, "Verse from the Bible to help us to stop doubting and to believe." You might want mums or dads to help you with the snipping. We don't want any accidents, and I look forward to seeing your crafts later on.